Welcome back. You're still watching Weekend Prime, our continued special coverage of the death of Emilio Mwai Kibaki, Kenya's third president, who died today at the age of 90. Let's now take a look at the life and times of the late president.
For the man who helped define the advent of multi-party politics and later ruled Kenya for a decade, life for Emilio Mwai Kibaki began in Gatuyaine village in Othaya on the morning of the 15th of November 1931, the son of John Gethenji Kibaki and Teresia Wanjiku. As a young boy, Kibaki was seen by his father as being not very useful in the garden. But the stars, it appears, had already started shining upon him when in 1939, the Consolata missionaries set up the Gatuyaine school and nominated him for admission. He studied at the school for 2 years, then joined the Holy Ghost Catholic Missionaries Karima Mission School for another 3 years. He later proceeded to Mathare School, now Nyeri High School, between 1944 and 1946. In 1947, he was admitted to the Holy Ghost College, now Mangu High School, something that may have altered the course of his life. In 1950, he passed his examinations with Grade 1 distinction, earning himself entry into the then prestigious Makerere University for a Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics, History and Political Science. In 1955, he graduated with first-class honors in economics and earned a scholarship to join the world-famous London School of Economics in 1956. Kibaki enrolled for a Bachelor of Science degree in Public Finance and in 1958 became the first African to graduate from the school with a first-class honor. Following his graduation, he returned to Makerere University, where he taught economics as an assistant lecturer until 1960, when he resigned and came back to Kenya to join politics. Kibaki started off as KANU's executive officer. The same year, he met the now deceased Lucy Muthoni Kibaki. The Kibaki and Lucy romance blossomed for 2 years until 1962, when he married her and left his role in KANU. The couple were later blessed with 4 children. A year later, he began what would turn out to be a long career in politics that would land him the country's ultimate job, the presidency, in 2002. After Kenya gained independence in 1963, Kibaki was elected Member of Parliament for Donholm, now Makadara constituency, and was appointed Parliamentary Secretary to the Treasury and an Assistant Minister for Economic Planning and Development, working as Tom Mboya's deputy. In 1966, following the fallout between President Jomo Kenyatta and his deputy Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, which saw Jaramogi form the Kenya People's Union, Kibaki was elevated to a full cabinet minister in charge of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, serving in a cabinet of 23 ministers, including Tom Mboya, Charles Njonjo, Mbiyu Koinange, Daniel Moi, and William Wamalwa. When Tom Mboya was assassinated in July 1969, Kibaki and J.M. Kariuki were the only prominent leaders from central Kenya who attended Mboya's burial in Rusinga Island, and his association with Mboya, his fellow Mangu alumni, and his boldness to attend his funeral made him a marked man by some of those who surrounded Kenyatta's presidency. He was nevertheless appointed Minister for Finance and Economic Planning in 1969. But in the 1974 elections, which followed the Mboya assassination crisis, Kibaki, in what was seen as a tactical retreat, moved his political base from Donholm to Othaya and remained the area MP for close to 4 decades. Following Kenyatta's death in 1978, Daniel Moi took over power and Kibaki was elevated to vice president and continued serving as Minister for Finance. After the 1983 elections, Kibaki retained the vice presidency, but his ministerial docket was changed to that of Home Affairs, just a year after Kenya was officially declared a one-party state. Kibaki, who was seen as a reserved and moderate politician, was however demoted to the Ministry of Health after falling out with Daniel Moi in 1988. He served in the docket until the reintroduction of multi-party politics in 1991, when he quit KANU, resigned from the Moi cabinet, and formed his own party, the Democratic Party. Kibaki was criticized by some for not joining the Forum for Restoration of Democracy, FORD, a formidable political force at the time. But FORD split into FORD Kenya, led by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and FORD Asili, led by Kenneth Matiba, something that may have played into Kibaki's favor.
Democratic Party believes that Kenya must regain its lost good name and past glory.
Kibaki, an avid golf player, took his first shot at the presidency in 1992 on a DP ticket, but came third after KANU's Daniel Moi and FORD Asili's Kenneth Matiba.
DP! DP!
In 1997, he took a second shot at the country's top job, still on a DP ticket, and came second after Moi. He became the leader of official opposition and served as chairman of the Public Accounts Committee and member of the House Business Committee between 1998 and 2002, during which time efforts to change the Lancaster Constitution were initiated. Ahead of the 2002 elections, Kibaki's Democratic Party joined hands with Charity Ngilu's Social Democratic Party and Kijana Wamalwa's FORD Kenya to form the National Alliance Party of Kenya, NAK. The NAK later formed an alliance with the Liberal Democratic Party, which was formed by disgruntled KANU presidential aspirants who had quit the ruling party. The alliance became the giant National Rainbow Coalition that ended KANU's 40-year reign, with Kibaki as its presidential flag bearer. But the NAK captain would go missing from the campaign trail in the run-up to the elections. Following a series of campaign rallies in Ukambani, Kibaki was injured in a road accident at the Machakos Junction.
The captain has been injured in the field. He's temporarily indisposed, but the rest of the team shall continue with the play.
The accidents do happen. Don't treat it like it can only happen to some people but not to others. It can happen to any person. And it's not something I would blame anybody for.
He was hospitalized at the Nairobi hospital before being flown to London, leaving other party leaders to spearhead the campaigns. He returned from London to a rousing welcome.
Karibu! Karibu! Nyumbani!
Kibaki, who had in 1991 likened the removal of KANU from power to cutting down a Mugumo tree with a razor blade, effectively ended the Jogoo Party's 4-decade rule.
The Electoral Commission therefore declares Honorable Mwai Kibaki the President of Kenya.
He was third-time lucky and was elected Kenya's third president after beating the KANU candidate Uhuru Kenyatta.
Mimi Mwai Kibaki naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu.
He was sworn in as president on the 29th of December 2002 and went on to avail some of his election goodies. During his presidency, Kibaki rolled out the free primary education program, unveiled the economic recovery strategy, launched Vision 2030, and initiated the rehabilitation and expansion of infrastructure.
We are truly unbogable.
His reign, however, began amid health issues from the Machakos accident. Kibaki, who was criticized for appointing his elderly peers, took on a laid-back and what some saw as an aloof, old-style school of leadership, a far cry from the eloquent, firm leader that he was as DP leader and as official leader of the opposition.
Now, it is important, ladies and gentlemen, to own up that for a long period, there were those of us who believed that we could have cleansed KANU from inside. And it is true that in 1988 was our Rubicon.
He was not a widely traveled president and was one president who at times did not mind his language.
Kuna mwenyewe hapa au ni mama au ni baba angali anajivuna kutembea mbele ya watu na hana aibu. Mtu kama huyo ni bure kabisa, anahitaji kutwagwa makofi.
Hata gari yangu naona inatoroka yeye bure. Mwambie arudi nyuma. Ni pubafu kabisa.
Unakuwa na maana gani
duniani ikiwa wewe kazi yako ni wizi wa ng'ombe? Kweli una maana gani? Huna maana, wewe ni binadamu ya mavi ya kuku.
But wrangles complicated his first term as president after Raila Odinga's LDP wing felt shortchanged on a pre-election MOU. The agreement had apparently included the review of the constitution to create the position of an executive prime minister for Raila Odinga and an equal share of appointments to the cabinet. Raila's LDP wing successfully mounted a campaign against the watered-down draft constitution fronted by Kibaki in 2005, resoundingly defeating it at the referendum.
Following the results of the referendum, the Kenyan people made their decision. That decision will be honored by my government.
Kibaki fired the LDP members from the cabinet. In the following year, he would face what was perhaps one of the lowest moments of his presidency, when the Anglo leasing scandal shook his administration, forcing his close confidants to resign. A year later, he sought re-election in the 2007 elections under the Kibaki tenure slogan with a hitherto unknown political outfit, the Party of National Unity, PNU.
Wale ambao mmeshaamua kwamba mtanipigia kura ni wangapi? Aya, inueni mkono tuone.
It was to be a hotly contested poll. Kibaki secured his stay at State House after beating Raila Odinga in a controversial outcome that saw the veteran Othaya politician hurriedly sworn in at dusk for a second term.
Mimi Mwai Kibaki.
Yes, we continue with our special coverage of the death of Emilio Mwai Kibaki, Kenya's third president, who passed on today at the age of 90. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more news updates and information at the top of the hour.